My name's Julian Marsh. I was an architect and now I work with various environmental groups. Meadows Ozone Energy Services Company in the Meadows, which is a community energy group. Green Meadows, which is a group that's trying to help people in the Meadows to become more resilient to climate change. And Nottingham Climate Assembly, which came originally out of Extinction Rebellion, which I'm a member of.
Could you talk a little bit about what Nottingham Climate Assembly is?
Extinction Rebellion, since they started, it's been one of their three. We decide everything with assemblies. Basically, we use the assembly system as a way of making decisions, and they wanted government to take that on board in terms of climate. And in fact, the government did. They ran a climate assembly when Nottingham declared its CN28 target. A couple of us from Extinction Rebellion went to see the deputy leader, who was Sally Longford at the time, and said, one of the things we said to us was, you really should be running a climate assembly for Nottingham to try and make this a bottom-up process as much as possible. At the time, there was no money. The city didn't have any money. So we started looking at how we could raise money ourselves. The group has got together, formed Nottingham Climate Assembly. We started initially just trying to connect different environmental groups together with the website, and then raise some money from lottery to run a youth assembly, which we did in 2022 at the university. And that was really good, really great weekend. It was a residential weekend. We started thinking about doing an assembly for all of Nottingham, and by that time Sally had actually retired from the council and wanted to get involved and really try and make it happen. But raising money was a big issue. There'd been a recent one at South Yorkshire for the mayor there, and it cost between 150,000 and 200,000. And so trying to raise that kind of money seemed crazy, but we started. And in the meantime, we decided to start doing a series of mini assemblies, asking local groups if they wanted to hold a mini assembly in their area, choose the questions they wanted to discuss, and then we would support them with facilitation and organisation. And that's been really successful. No one's had done that before, so that's quite unusual, and it's been quite an interesting sort of research focus on that. And we raised 27,000 of our own money in the time, and then we decided that we were going to go for it with that kind of money. And as it got close, so we started organising it. As it got closer to it actually really happening, then more people started to put money in. So we actually got 50,000 from MCA as well, which really helps, and 1,000 from E.ON. So that enabled us to actually do the full assembly, which we then got on with.
What initially inspired you to get involved with sustainability?
Being an architect, you're kind of in the front line of environmental issues. And it's quite common for architects to teach at the same time as being in practice. And I was teaching at Nottingham Uni at the time, just part-time while running my practice. And I was teaching with a couple of architects called Brenda and Robert Vale, who had built the first autonomous house. So it's the first house that's sort of completely off-grid in the UK. I knew them because they were at the same uni as me, a few years ahead, and they've been experimenting with that as students as well. And at that time, it also became clear that climate change was actually happening. The science was actually there, the results were there. And so I started trying to turn the way we worked in the practice around towards being much more sustainable, doing much more low carbon buildings, and then it sort of went on from there, really.
What would you say has been your proudest moment since doing sustainable work?
I mean, building the house I currently live in, I suppose, because that took 5 years, and I built a lot of it myself, and that's basically it's a very, very low energy house, and it's aimed also at something which was not common at the time when we started doing it in 2005, which was being interested in overheating of houses. at that time. Passive house was the big thing. It was all about trying to reduce energy for heating. When actually the big issue, as we're now seeing, is overheating in the summer, and so it tries to make it possible to using mass and ventilation techniques like night cooling to make it possible to keep houses much cooler for a lot longer in the heat waves, and that's been a really interesting journey, sort of developing that kind of idea.
What advice would you give to the younger generation in getting involved with sustainability?
Well, it's unfortunately it's now your problem. Um, it's our fault, um, and that's another reason for getting involved in trying to do something about it, because we carry the guilt um, for the way things have gone, and are getting worse in a way with AI and all that, kind of stuff. So the you need to be active. You need to persuade people that it really is possible to do something, that it is actually happening, that we do need things like net zero, and we need the whole world to get behind this and start to reduce carbon footprints everywhere, reduce the amount of carbon, so we can at least stop it running away from with us, as it's threatening to do at the moment.